Welcome back. Whoa, oh shit.
Welcome.
Well, today was a little bit of a tiffy because my fault. Because I'm like, yeah, let's get as much in. Let's get there like early, whatever. And then my alarm didn't go off.
I know.
And there's that.
And then we had computer problems because Julie got the really cool new iPhone.
It's stabbing me in the back though now because now I can't. It's the same thing. It's supposed to have. Why I got it so advanced, ahead of time, was exactly for this because it's supposed to have like such a good camera and whatever. Couldn't figure out how to get the stupid thing to connect to our thing. I will have to spend hours on that later, not now. So we're recording from my computer camera, and I hope this comes out good. I mean, it kind of looks good right now. So
Yeah, I think it looks good. My hair looks a little bit weird, but
no, it doesn't. Oh, she has new hair.
oh, I cut my hair. I chopped off my hair.
Oh, I love it. I'm gonna have to do the same thing because this blonde is just killing my hair. It's just not. It's not doing
It ain't
good.
working.
It's not. My hair's too thin. Like
I loved being blonde,
yeah.
but
No, but you're not even like dark.
No, I'm like a
dark.
chocolate
It's-
brown.
Exactly. I love it. Okay, well, not talking about that. Today's episode is on vaping
yes,
and
baby.
nicotine,
Yes.
which I need to open this up because, of course, I haven't opened that up yet. But yes, so we decided, I mean, a lot of people are doing this because they either want to stop cigarettes or think it's like a healthy alternative to like nicotine or whatever. And it started kind of like that in the beginning, but then now we're, But then now we're kind of seeing studies of it saying like differently though.
Yeah.
Of it being a little dangerous.
Yeah.
So.
The whole entire reason why vaping really, I don't want to say the whole entire reason it came out, but when it came out, it was really pushed on people that were smoking cigarettes.
Exactly.
So they can stop smoking cigarettes, which is known to cause a lot of problems. Everyone knows there's carcinogens in it, cancers, just a whole slew of diseases that it can cause. And so a lot of people were promoting to switch over to vaping to the point where even cigarette companies, the ones that are selling cigarettes started buying out these vaping companies to start promoting
vaping.
Yeah.
They thought that it was probably going to be like the new smoking, like the new,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of get into like the talks about like vaping and stuff like that, but there's been a ton of ample evidence showing that they target like the way that they market vaping, it's like targeting specific people, like even youth. Because you have to be like over 18 years old to buy the cigarettes. So then vaping, since it's not a cigarette, then they can buy it, and it's
exactly. There's like that little loophole. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about that, but we didn't want to just talk only about vaping because vaping, the whole point of it being like dangerous and whatever is because of the nicotine content in it. So we're going to mix a little bit of that together. Yeah.
A lot more things in vaping than just nicotine. Sometimes I feel like, like nicotine is
the drug,
like in it, and it's the one that causes the addiction and all of that, and can increase maybe a slight increase in blood pressure. It can increase your heart rate and all of that stuff. But truly like the other things that go into vaping, the whole entire problem with vaping is that it's not regulated. It came into the market not regulated. It is still not regulated.
Interesting.
You can put a lot of things into these cartridges. And
it could be anything.
It could be anything. So
dang. Yeah, that's scary. That's like, I feel like vitamins are like that too. They're not regulated either. And it's just like,
there's actually third-party businesses and corporations that have a logo.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
It's very interesting, but their whole entire job is to make sure that whatever they are advertising is actually what's inside the product.
Makes sense. Okay.
So
I think I've seen it. It's like a little like sticker, like maybe blue or something.
Sticker,
exactly. On the back or something.
And I can't think, there's a few companies that do it.
Yeah, I can't think of the name either.
The name right now.
Yeah.
But maybe we can touch in on that on our TikTok or something and let everyone know, because I'm sure everyone wants to know.
Oh yeah. I could definitely put that up on TikTok. And of course, always follow our socials, like on Instagram and stuff. Every time an episode comes out, the Instagram comes out with it of like slides of what we're talking about. So,
Julie is much more active on our socials.
Well, you're a whole ass doctor, that's why. So I'm
really trying to be more, but
you don't need to explain yourself.
I'm still here.
Well, you're like the whole soul of the...
You are.
No,
she is.
No, she's the soul of the podcast. You're the doctor here.
No.
Okay, anyway.
We could talk about medicine and not be a doctor. I don't recommend that. I'm like, I don't recommend it.
Not recommended, but anyway. All right, so jumping into exactly what is nicotine then?
Yeah. So basically, nicotine is a substance, and it's found in a lot of cigarettes. It's found in vaping products. Basically, it can be an addictive substance. It can raise your blood pressure. It can raise your heart rate. It can decrease your appetite because it's kind of like stimulating a part of your nervous system.
Right.
That. Oh.
Did that make it? I don't know. Maybe
I think it did make it.
Well, yeah. Well, I've started hearing that, and I'm like, wait a minute. Anyway, for all of you audio listeners, we're a nomadic, as we've explained before. Yeah. We're here, we're there, recording everywhere. We don't really have a pod lab yet.
Yeah, I know.
We're both in the midst of remodeling our homes.
I know. That's the other thing.
It's like we picked the perfect time to start.
Yeah, we picked a great time to start a podcast. But the good thing is that the house is moving along, and we're in Evie's house. Yeah, we'll soon have a place to podcast.
My house right now, I do not recommend recording right now because I got kiddo and I got the 4 dogs there, and I got my mother and I got husband there. So that was gonna be chaotic.
I literally have the full opposite right now. Like no animals, no children, no nothing.
That's why we're like, okay, Evie's house it is.
Yeah, I had no furniture. I don't have anything.
That's why, and like for those of you on Patreon that are seeing the video, oh my God, we have our first patron.
I know, we have our first Patreon.
Thank you, Mike Perry.
Yeah.
Okay, and we will, whoever joins Patreon, we will announce you and we will thank you either by your name or your handle, whatever you want us to like call you by.
Shout out.
But yeah, if you're seeing us through Patreon, you'll see that it's a blank wall, and that's signifies that we're EVs. Yeah, we want to put like plants or something. I don't know, maybe like a little neon sign.
Because we're such moms. There's a little plant.
We're millennials too. It's like a total millennial thing too.
A little snake plant, I think, would look great.
Yeah, a little monstera, a little fig.
A little monstera.
A fiddle leaf.
A fiddle leaf fig.
Every time I see a fiddle leaf fig plant, whatever, I think of you.
Yeah.
And so does Mario. Because I remember when you walked into Mario's parents' house and they had this ginormous.
Listen. Fiddle leaf figs are infamous, okay, for being very difficult plants to grow and to nurture. And you see everyone, cutting the dead part off and everything.
Yeah.
And my mom gave me a fiddle leaf fig for my apartment when I lived in Tampa. And it was, I had to put it in the right corner. One day I left it too much in the sun and it like burned half the tree. I had to move it. And then finally I found the spot where it was beautiful. It was growing and it was like, thriving. And then I was so proud of myself because it was so hard to keep that plant alive. And then I come back to Miami and, we're having like a get together at Mario's or something.
Yeah.
And Mario's parents, I never realized that they have this massive fiddle leaf.
Like growing in the front of their house.
But it's not like one little stem. It's like a whole entire massive like bush of fiddle leaf figs.
Yeah, it's legit growing from the ground in front of their house, like a tree. Like it's like another tree.
It's like another tree.
I never even noticed
beautiful
it.
and massive. And then I just stopped and I just gasped and I was like, "What is this?"
You freaked out.
I freaked out.
I'm telling you, even Mario now, still to this day,
my plant died. By the way, in the move, it died.
Well, we'll make these fake plants.
Yeah.
As nice fake plants as possible. Yeah. How the hell did we get to nicotine to all of this? Oh, because of the door slamming or whatever. Okay. So back to that. The people that are only listening in audio, I was closing a door like from not wanting to get up because of the video. Yeah. And it kind of made a little noise. So that's what I was doing if you couldn't see me on video. But
yeah, so that's what nicotine is.
Yeah. I have here about tar and carbon monoxide that they're also released in tobacco, when it's burned, isn't that like one of the reasons why like when you go into a smoker's home of like years
so talking about my house
like your current
the one right here,
okay,
before I remodeled everything, the previous owners were smokers, and it was like a very big thing back then in the 60s and the 70s. Everyone smoked and we didn't really know what were the consequences of smoking.
Inside your house, like
inside the house, inside the car, people would smoke inside the hospital. There's plenty of like pictures of doctors smoking at a hospital.
Oh my God, that's like
as they're signing charts.
That's such an oxymoron.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah, so they didn't really know. And actually it was like very very social and stuff like that.
Right, it was like the thing to do.
Women smoke during pregnancy.
Oh God, I know.
Yeah, it was like we didn't really know the consequences of it. But anyways, so they used to smoke inside the house, and when I bought the house, it was like just walking into the house, it just slapped me in the face. And then I ended up, when I bought it and I came to like truly deeply inspect the house, see what I was going to do with it, the construction, whatever, demolition. And I saw, like, I could tell exactly where they had frames and pictures, because the wall was a different type of yellow.
My God.
To like where the pictures and frames were.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's disgusting.
And you don't even see it as you're living there, because
you don't see it.
It does that little by little.
You don't see it. You don't realize how bad it smells. I had to change everything. I knocked down all the drywall. I knocked on the walls. I literally had my house in stilts.
Yeah.
I got rid of all of the air ducts.
Oh, yeah,
I
you have
changed
to.
all of that system completely. The what do you call that? The insulation.
Mm-hmm.
Change the insulation too.
Yeah, there's no saving that. With that much smoking and stuff, there's no saving any of that.
Exactly. Especially when they live such a long time smoking.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But yeah, so nicotine's gross.
It's disgusting. And actually, when you said the word tar, I will never forget, as a medical student, I went into a surgery. It was a lung surgery, and I think they were actually doing a lung resection. Mm-hmm. And basically what that means is that they take a part of the lung like out, like physically out. Mm-hmm. And it was a smoker's lung, and they knew I was a student, so they actually let me like touch the lung. Mm-hmm. And you could just see black tar on the lung.
Oh my God.
Like, when I tell you that if this were the lung and you tried to like scrape off the tar, it wouldn't come off.
So it was just permanently
stuck on the lungs.
Oh man.
So it just, I was like, nope, I cannot. Like, after seeing that, it was like, I had a totally different view on smoking and everything. The lung was literally black.
Wow.
And I've done autopsies, I've done cadavers,
right.
I haven't done them, but I participated in them. So I know what a fresh lung looks like with an autopsy, because the bodies are fresh.
Right.
And I know what a cadaver lung looks like. Mm-hmm. And when I saw that guy's lung, I was like, oh, dude. It was like,
wow. Like, I've seen like photos and videos of it online and whatever, and it's jarring. And mostly when they try to inflate them. I don't know if you've seen those videos of inflating a normal lung, and it just beautifully inflates.
Isn't it crazy how much it inflates?
Big time. Like, it's such a massive amount. And then they do the same type, like the same volume into the smoker's lung, and it's like a third opens. Like, in comparison to this beautiful pink, like, set of lungs that just opens perfectly, this other one is just like shriveled and like barely opens a little bit. It's like,
it's disgusting.
Oh my God, that's awful. But
so now every time someone is like smoking like cigarettes and all of that in front of me, I'm like, your lungs.
And just because you're vaping doesn't mean that.
No. So that's a whole entire thing that's our whole entire point of our episode today. Vaping is not that much better. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the vaping induced lung injury and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But that can also cause a lot of problems too. So you're not safe with vaping. And I feel bad, because as a doctor, we need to admit to certain things. Yeah. And I feel as like in peds, like we don't do smoking. In peds, it's like no smoking. And it should be the same in adults. Like, we should not encourage smoking at all. Yeah. So so like cigars and stuff like that, it's very cultural too. Yeah. Like, you can have
for our culture, for Cuban
and everything.
In our culture too.
Yeah. So it's like very part of it. But at the end of the day, like, consistent daily smoking and all
that's awful.
You shouldn't smoke at all. I mean, that's like truly, like, that is the recommendation. Mm-hmm. But the everyday use and stuff like that, we used to push it, because people that were smoking cigarettes, then we said, hey, vaping isn't going to have like all the carcinogens that cigarettes have. Yeah. So then that's why it was pushed a little bit more, and now we're like saying that it's like
negative, go back up.
Yeah. It's just stop everything. And then there's people that then got addicted to vaping, so now they're doing both. They're cigarette smoking and vaping.
Oh my God. Wow.
And we see it all
because nicotine is such a good drug in that effect. Yeah. it's really, really addicting.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the most addicting drugs out there, right? And it's crazy that it's over the counter. Like you would think that it's, yeah, of course you have like all the, how do you call this? Like oxycodone and all those are highly, highly addictive. But nicotine is up there in how quickly you could develop an addiction out of it.
Yep.
Because I think it's like, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like heroin or something like the opioids that you need like maybe just out of one usage or two, you're addicted.
Yeah.
And I think nicotine is like right up there, like in that type of addicting factor.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but anyway, and it works with your dopamine, or is it your
serotonin and dopamine?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're feel good, happy.
Yeah.
Neurotransmitters.
Yeah, exactly.
In
so
the brain.
your appetite goes away. So a lot of people like it because it kind of like curbs their hunger a little bit. So
and it's also like an oral fixation type of situation too. Yeah.
Yeah, and also people when they're nervous or they're stressed or something like that, it's like that's like the theme that they have, and they have to smoke this nicotine because it triggers that happy portion of your brain. So it's a lot of social, emotional, physical things that go into smoking.
Right. Okay. All right. So then I found like these, I don't know, these street names that I wanted to put out there. Like ciggies.
Cute.
It's cute, right?
What were the ones that were like really in for the girls? The long thing.
Oh, like back in the 50s?
No, and
no?
Like even when we were younger, like I used to see like girls smoking them all the time.
Black and Mild?
No, Black and Mild. Those are the vanilla, strong vanilla smell. The ones that were like very thin.
No, I don't remember. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, oh my God. It's like a whole wave of memories is coming into my...
Yes.
Dude, it was... No, not Parliament.
Cigarettes.
Parliament? No. Was it Parliament? No. Vanilla? No. Something with a V, maybe. I don't know. Yes, but I know what you're talking about. And they're like super cute.
Yes.
And it was like, oh my God.
And they're like long and thin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm
giving cute.
Exactly. I'm here thinking of like super like of the 20s when they would like put
the long ones. No, these are like actual cigarettes,
like,
and like and again,
don't
like,
look at me, darling, like type of situation.
Yeah, like relative.
exactly.
But no, these were like very, and I think they were advertised for women.
Yeah,
that it was supposed to be like the slimmer, cuter, more dainty looking cigarette.
Right. Okay, yeah, I do remember those, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe they were called ciggies. I don't know. Anyway, darts, duries. I don't know why duries. Rollies, smokes, obviously. Okay, I'm not gonna say that other word. This one, butts, and then cancer sticks. We agree, cancer sticks are the way to go. I think that's the most recent one. Like
cancer sticks.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that. I like that.
I've heard that like on TikTok with like Gen Zers and all that. You know how Gen Zers
now
are.
I'm
like
gonna interview my patients. I'm gonna be like, do you smoke cancer sticks?
Exactly, and they'll be like, what?
Excuse me, cigarettes.
And I'm still like, I don't know if you guys hear it, and mostly in the audio version, like I'm still recovering from this nasty ass cold that I had that week.
Happy I'm not sick.
I'm not sick anymore, but I still had the stupid cough that's like way deep down in there, talking about lungs. Can't shake it, but whatever. Anyway, we're here. Okay, so long-term effects of nicotine. So what you were saying, like it's hard because like it's so habitual.
Yeah.
And then it messes with your brain chemistry as well. So in order to get out of that, you need to like completely not reorganize, but like retrain your brain again, you know, from habit and chemically wise.
Yeah.
It has to like completely, that's why it sucks. And that's why people can't really quit cold turkey, because that messes with your brain chemistry.
I feel like there's people that quit cold turkey, and then there's people that quit little by little. Then there's people that maybe combine
the patches,
the nicotine gum.
Yeah.
Chantix is a prescription medication,
which is pretty dangerous though. I've heard that it has a lot of side effects, like scary ones too. Yeah.
It has a lot of side effects, but it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, do you prefer
you gotta weigh the risks and the benefits.
Risks, exactly.
Yeah.
So
okay, so then I have here regular smoking of tobacco products which contain nicotine have well documented negative effects. As we've said, of course, premature death, disability, and the use of nicotine through smoking may eventually cause the following problems and chronic diseases such as stroke, blindness, cataracts. It also affects more than just your lungs, people. Like, don't think that smoking is only to your lungs. No, like you could even develop like cancers in the mouth, all sorts of things.
Thrombosis, a huge one, and that is very sad.
It's horrible. Horrible.
So
So birth defects, of course, if you're either smoking directly while you're pregnant or somebody you're experiencing like a lot of secondhand smoke.
Yeah. And let me just, because this is something that we see a lot in pediatrics.
Yeah, of course.
Just because you smoke outside the house doesn't mean that you are not giving people secondhand smoke exposure or third-hand smoke exposure. Okay. The stuff that all those substances and carcinogens and everything, you smell the hands of cigarette smokers and it is there. It doesn't matter how many times you wash your hands, you're gonna smell it.
So on your clothes, you're gonna carry it back in your clothes.
It's gonna be on your clothes.
Everything.
It's going to be on your hair. It's going to be on your skin.
Yeah.
It's going to be everywhere. So then what do you do when you go inside the house? You sit on the couch, you sit here, you sit there, and then so it doesn't matter. If you smoke outside, you will bring it into the home.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
It is considered a risk. And I always have to say it's a huge risk factor for SIDS, which is sudden infant death syndrome.
Yeah.
Don't smoke.
Yeah, just don't. Just don't do it. Don't do it. I know people are like highly addictive, and it's mostly like the cases that I've seen, like even within family, it's like woman is pregnant and then the man, a husband, spouse, whatever, partner, smokes. So then they're like, oh, well, I'm going to go outside and smoke. And then no, but that doesn't matter. You're still bringing it in. Just like you said, oh no, but I'm going to shower right after. Doesn't matter.
You're going to shower multiple
every
times.
time. Yeah, because you're not going to smoke just once a day. Like it's not. So it's hard. Like I was saying about the mouth, it's going to affect your mouth because obviously you're smoking through the mouth. So how do you say that?
Periodontal disease.
That's it. Then you got aortic aneurysm. So that's the enlarging of major blood vessels because they're trying to compensate for all this crap that you're putting into your system.
Yeah. And they do these type of testing. So these screenings is what adult screenings do. So I think after a certain age, if you're a smoker, then you actually should get a CT, an abdominal CT, I think it is, for screening to see if you have any of these aortic aneurysms.
Makes sense, yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, that if you say that you are an active smoker, like there's insurance companies that will like not even accept you.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah. So another
Life
reason not to.
Insurance and all those
Oh,
things.
yeah. That's another one. Yeah.
They won't accept you.
Okay. Pneumonia, because obviously various respiratory diseases with shortness of breath, asthma, coughing fits. Then you got diabetes, reduced fertility, ectopic pregnancy in the fallopian tube. That's a pregnancy that develops in the fallopian tube. It's really, really dangerous. Very, very serious. Hip fractures, because it also affects your bones, right?
Bone growths and all that stuff,
Male sexual dysfunction, for all you males out there, it does affect your PP.
Yeah, we actually covered that in erectile dysfunction, our first episode. But yes, smoking is it can cause symptoms of erectile dysfunction.
Another reason why not to smoke. Rheumatoid arthritis, reduced immune function. So you're gonna get more colds, more flus, all that nasty, wonderful stuff. Overall diminished health. Okay, you're gonna age. Like there's so many people out there that I see them. Dude, we went on vacation. Like, not even gonna say the name of where because I don't want to single this person out. But we went on vacation this summer, and along with our friend group, there's one. This person has been a chronic smoker pretty much their whole entire life. That person compared to this other person that was in our friend group, same age, looked like the smoker looked like that they were 20 years older.
Yep.
And I'm not exaggerating. Yep. I was in shock when I learned that they went to the same high school, like they were in the same grade or whatever. Like they knew each other from then. And it was like, they're the same age. Yep. I was like, mind blown.
Yep.
Just because the wrinkles and just everything. I was like, I cannot believe they're the same age.
Yep.
Insane. Like how much it ages you, smoking. I would have never thought, but
definitely. But that's very common. Like it just has to do with like stress, smoking, people that do other sorts of illicit drugs and stuff like that. It's damaging to your body, and then the damage inside will eventually start showing on the outside.
Yeah. Okay. It slows down the healing of wounds. Obviously you start developing a codependency to it, and then just everything, like from the larynx, esophagus, trachea, stomach, liver, it affects everything. Okay, so just because, don't think that it's only your lungs or maybe your throat and your mouth only. It literally affects everything. And the longer you do it for, the longer and the worse it's gonna get. So what I was talking about earlier, like nicotine withdrawals, like it's pretty serious and it's challenging because the body has to get used to it. Withdrawal symptoms usually start 2 to 3 hours after you use the last,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
hit of
why
nicotine.
they do the smoke breaks and stuff like that. They need it.
Yeah, the symptoms may last from a few days to a few weeks, and the symptoms can be cravings, irritability, restless sleep, eating more, putting on weight, because it's that oral fixation thing you need, you know.
Headaches, all of that. So you feel like crap.
Crap. It's not fun. It's not fun. Okay, so vaping. Now, what is it? It's like the little, like, they come in all sorts of like little mechanisms.
So it's a little cartridge that comes with all the substances. So like nicotine, the aerosolized things, flavors.
That's what I was going to say. There's a bunch of flavors.
Yeah. So then that all gets put into a little cartridge that gets put into a device that has an aerosolizer that is operated by a battery. That is what a vape is.
Okay, that's it. Awesome. You're like so technical. I love it.
How did you know that?
No, I know how you know that because, you know, you're a brilliant doctor. That's how you know that.
No.
It's like you explained it so technically. I love it.
I've had parents are very confused on what a vape is.
Oh,
so
that makes sense.
I have to like break it down to them.
Barney, like,
Yeah.
that's why I was like,
The device that consists of these things, and that's what it is. And they're like, oh, okay.
yeah, I've seen that before now. All right, so exactly what she said, and you'll see them like e-cigarettes or AK JUULs, JUUL, and then a little S maybe.
Yeah.
Vape pens. You know, some of them are even like these little thin little things that are one use.
Yeah.
You know, like you just smoke it and then you dump it.
I didn't know this from before. Like when I was reading, I didn't know, but there's different types of vapes. So there's like first generation vapes, second generation vapes, third generation vapes.
Jeez, really?
And they started evolving. So before, the first vapes actually looked like cigarettes.
Right.
So
right,
that it was more, again, like the whole entire psychological part of smoking a cigarette and trying to get away from
replacing
that
it
is doing a vape, but that looks like a cigarette, feels like a cigarette, you can hold it like a cigarette. And then after that, it started taking on more shapes and different things. So that's when the other generations came along.
Okay, yeah, no, now it's like a whole big, there's so many different types. I recently found out about those, like the one-use ones. And they're tiny. They're tiny little things, and you use it, and that's it, you dump it. I'm like,
yeah. And I think a lot of people
found out about it.
like those because there's certain places where you're not allowed to vape and you're not allowed to do that. So what they end up doing is they prefer to have something that's disposable.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to throw, some of these vapes are extremely expensive.
Yep.
So they're not going to throw away.
Yeah, of course not.
Vapes. So they'll buy those and then that's what they'll use to go out and stuff like that.
Makes sense. Or if they like consider themselves like not a habitual vapor or whatever, but then they want to do it like a social thing or like once in a whatever, they're out on vacation and everybody around them is doing it, then it's like, well, then I'm just gonna do the one because I don't really do this every day or whatever. There's so many things around it, but anyway, these devices heat up, like she said, the flavorings. They also heat up nicotine, marijuana, or other potentially harmful substances. A CDC study found that 99% of e-cigarettes containing nicotine, so 99% of them contain nicotine. So
again, not regulated. So contains like a lot. It contains nicotine.
Literally going into that right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah.
No, go for it.
So it contains nicotine. It contains things like things that can turn into formaldehyde, which is considered a carcinogen. So it's like the propylene alcohol or.
I mean, we're talking about things that preserve cadavers.
Yeah.
So that's how hard.
THC, CBD oil, the flavorings themselves can be oils and stuff like that. So things that you're not supposed to be inhaling.
Yeah, absolutely. So exactly. Nicotine, acrolein. So it's a herbicide primarily used to kill weeds.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's been studies like showing that some vapes have, so they started seeing diseases, right? And when you start seeing a certain increase in diseases, what happens is that people start doing research and they interview the people and then they start matching things that are similar within these people. So a lot of these studies ended up showing that the one common denominator was vaping. So then they started looking into vaping and the things that they see in vaping, and since there's no regulation on it, they saw arsenic, they saw things that are poisonous.
Dude, arsenic will kill you. Like it's dang. Anyway, So then exactly what you had said earlier, that the flavorings themselves contain something such as diacetyl.
Diacetyl.
There you go. A chemical linked to serious lung disease such as bronchiolitis, obliterations, aka popcorn lung.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
It causes a whole entire slew of things, but it can cause pneumonias like pneumonitis.
Yeah.
It can cause lipoid pneumonias, which is lipoid is basically like almost like
A fat?
fat-ish due to like certain oils and stuff like that have these type of contents in it.
Yeah.
It's just not supposed to be on your lungs.
Right.
So imagine your lungs breathe air, right? In and out. It's gas exchange. What goes in, goes out, right? If you get fluid, if you get things inside of there, that can cause pneumonias, that can cause irritation, that can cause asthma, can cause bronchiolitis, obliterans.
Obliterans.
Or at least I think that's how I learned it as a student. So.
You're right. I said obliterated.
I love Julie's. I love Julie's pronunciation of things. I didn't even hear you say obliterated.
I think you kind of did, but then you just went into more facts. Oh, thank God. And I'm here like, when you said it right, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, no. No.
Anyway.
But yeah, so popcorn lung, and then basically all of these things are just trying to describe some sort of inflammation.
Yeah.
And inflammation sometimes does not go away. What happens is that after inflammation, you create fibrosis, scar tissue, all those things. So your lungs aren't going to work the way that they used to work because they're supposed to be nice and elastic and in and out. But
yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
Cadmium?
Yes. So a toxic metal found in traditional cigarettes that causes breathing problems and disease. So vaping also contains that. And then ultrafine particles. Like, it's not just everything that she said, but like actual particles,
tiny little particles.
Tiny particles that go into your lungs. And just as Evie said, it's only supposed to be gases, yet you're inhaling their actual particles that are going into your lungs. So that's going to be a problem.
Very interesting thing that you just said there. So silver is known to be very healing, right? Like silver properties are supposed to be
burns
healing.
and stuff, right?
Yes, we do silvadine and all that stuff. So there are actually a lot of people that I do not recommend. It is not supposed to be inhaled, that they put silver into aerosolized products if they have a cough or congestion or something like that. And they can create pretty bad pneumonias, like pneumonitis.
What the heck? Wow.
Yeah, so
wow.
I'm sure that it's like, we see this all the time. So I'm sure these like cartridges have different things and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they're promoting it just like that. Like, it's healing and all the, oh man. Wow. Okay. And so, as you said earlier, that it's especially on the rise for teenagers.
Yeah, it's actually pretty sad. And there's, again, what I said, ample evidence. No one can fight me on this. There's ample evidence.
No, I have it right here cited.
Yeah, showing that there's the way that they market vaping is
targeted,
extremely targeted to the youngins.
Yeah.
So, and the reason why is because it's easy to get.
Yeah.
Not regulated.
It's cool.
And truly, honestly, I felt like we were doing such a good job on getting away from smoking.
I think so too, man.
And then vaping
all of a
came
sudden,
in.
Well, the tobacco companies had to find a way to make their money.
Yes.
You know? They're like,
Vaping
shit, we're
came
losing
in,
money. Like,
exactly. You know. And then now it's encouraging the smoking scene again.
Yeah.
Which is,
it's sad.
We did not want that.
Definitely.
But yeah, from music that they played to ads, the shape of the vape, from the colors of the vape, from the flavors of the vape,
the marketing,
the name of the vape,
that's
JUUL.
Yeah. I promise I'm not affiliated.
Yeah. JUUL. It's a huge thing.
Yeah, I know. You could tell. Like, it's just the marketing, like the photos, like all the graphics on it and everything. You're telling me that you're advertising all of that for like 50 plus? Lies. Like, come on. Like, there's no way.
And it's so crazy. There's so many people that vape and I'm like, please stop vaping. And they just shrug it off.
Well, yeah, because nicotine is such a good drug with that, man.
Yeah.
It really, really is. So, like I have here, according to a survey from the CDC, 14.1% of high school students reported current e-cigarette use in 2022. This represents an increase since 2017, when 11.7% of high school students reported current e-cigarette use. So just from 2017 to 2022, there was already that increase, and it's just going up.
Yep.
And it's reported from the CDC. Like it's definitely targeted. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
But yeah, how it affects your lungs, as we've been talking about, like more than 2,800 e-cigarette users required hospital admission due to e-valley. So what's e-valley?
So e-valley is, it's basically vaping induced lung injury.
Okay.
So they don't know how. Like, we don't have a pathogenesis. So pathogenesis means we, like, the way that it works, like the way that it causes the lung damage. But we do have our suspicions, and we do think that everything that goes into the lungs, like medicines, like albuterol and all those things, we all consider that topical. So topical is basically something that sits on top of something. And then, so our antibiotic creams, our steroids and stuff like that. So anything that you inhale can technically be a topical substance onto the lungs. So we're thinking that you inhale these things, they're not supposed to be there, like fats and all these things that doesn't allow the lungs to like really get rid of junk and all those things. So it damages because it's just sitting there, it's topical, so it just sits there, and then it creates this lung injury. But it's pretty bad, and a lot of the lung injury is associated with fibrosis. So fibrosis of the lungs is basically fibrous tissue, so scar tissue that happens, and you do not regenerate that. I know that a lot of people are like, lungs have regenerative. No, fibrosis is sad. Like, you need a lung transplant. So and I had a patient in residency. I can't remember if it was on my team or maybe like on another team, but we actually presented the patient on our morning case presentations, because he was a 12-year-old, I think. Like baseball player or something. Yeah. And he started coming into clinic, and he was basically saying that he had this cough, and we were treating him like an asthmatic and stuff like that. And then we did a chest x-ray, and it showed like, didn't show too much, but did show like some changes, and we're like, yeah, it's probably he has like some sort of chronic lung disease. And then we were like, man, but that's so weird, like he's never had anything, and it was very sudden. Like, he couldn't run to the outfield and come back.
What the heck?
So we would ask him, and we were like, hey, do you smoke, do you do anything? Always denied it. Till like one day, I think the parents actually caught him vaping. And then the parents came to tell us that he was vaping, and then we actually had to admit him. We did a CT of the lungs, which looks basically an x-ray will only give us a sort of a picture, but a CT is going to give us a little bit more information on just the way the study is performed. And we saw fibrosis. Like,
that's so sad. 12 years old. Jeez. That's awful.
There's a ton of adults that have this kind of like injury. And there's a bunch of people that will come and be like, well, I've been vaping my whole entire time and I never have anything. And I'm like, it's probably never had a CT done before. And I'm happy you don't have any symptoms, but that doesn't mean you're not going to get any symptoms. Oh, God. Yeah. So more than 2,800 e-cigarette users required hospital admission due to e-valley, so this lung injury due to vapes, through February 2020. And then 68 of these people died. Most cases were among teens and young adults. It's just, so yeah, typically symptoms have started gradually with shortness of breath and or chest pain before more serious breathing difficulty led to hospital admission. Exactly the case study that. That's actually pretty spot on.
Yeah.
And we couldn't figure it out. It's really hard, because when we ask you something, our questions are not because we're being nosy. Like, our questions because we have a million things like running through our head as you're like interviewing us. As we're interviewing you. And if I'm asking you if you're vaping, that's good, and you tell me yes, that narrows down my differential. Filters. Yeah, exactly.
It filters down like all the possibilities are running through your mind. So experts now suspect that contamination with a form of vitamin E called vitamin E acetate in some THC containing THC containing e-cigarettes as the cause of e-valley. Other contaminants and other factors, such as pre-existing lung disease, may also play a role. And the number of new e-valley cases has declined dramatically since September 2019, probably due to the public health messaging about the link between THC and e-cigarettes and e-valley, and removal of vitamin E acetate from e-cigarettes. However, it's also true that some cases of e-valley may be missed as you were saying. Yeah. Such as those attributed to infection and tracking of cases that are incomplete. Popcorn, lung, and vaping, say that word, I cannot, bronchiolitis.
Bronchiolitis obliterans. BO. Just say BO.
BO. And in that body odor.
Yeah, it's not body odor. It's bronchiolitis obliterans.
Or obliteration, like I said.
Obliteration. It's literally obliteration.
So that refers to a type of inflammation in the lungs that causes wheezing, coughing, and shortness of breath over time. It can lead to scarring of the lungs, as you were saying. That's the fibrosis. Tiny air sacs, along with thickening and narrowing of the airways. A chemical called diacetyl, found in many e-cigarette flavors, is one of the causes of this condition. Then the name comes from the reports of the illness due to diacetyl among workers in a microwave popcorn factory. Go figure that. Which is another thing, total tangent, but there was like back in the day, there were like lawsuits and all that from microwave popcorn because of like that chemical
and stuff.
Yeah, and cancers and stuff like that coming up. But so there's that link there to
popcorn.
That. I know, me too. But you know, Quinn, you got to check it out. They sell it in Target, and it's microwave popcorn, but they remove like all that crap, and they have it like in these really good microwavable bags that are free of all those things.
Cool.
Super cool and delicious.
Oh, I'm gonna try it.
They're so good. Anyway, so cancer risks in vaping. Some substances found in e-cigarette vapors have been linked to increased cases of cancer. The aerosol that the users inhale and exhale from e-cigarettes can expose both themselves and bystanders to these substances. Other risks of vaping are explosions.
Yeah.
As we've heard, I've seen them in the news. Like,
yeah.
Vapes exploding as you're using them, or you left them in the car and then like it exploded. Like serious stuff, you know?
And like, when
burns.
we talk about like vaping and like explosions, we're talking about something that you have close to your face.
Exactly. So it explodes in your face.
Like, and they don't allow it in
planes,
airlines and everything because of that.
Yeah, and it's because of these defective batteries or God knows what, you know. So, and like Evie was saying earlier, it affects your overall health, but still, you're still studying. You guys are still studying on how it's actually doing that.
Yeah,
you know,
we
it's
still don't
unclear.
have a lot of long-term studies on vaping. We have a lot of long-term studies on cigarette smoking
because it's been around for that much longer.
For so long, but really vaping, what was that, like around 2018, 2019 that it really started like coming out?
Pretty much, yeah. So does it actually help you to stop cigarette smoking? Some evidence suggests vaping helps some people stop smoking, though evidence suggests otherwise. You know, so according to a Cochrane study, it showed people are more likely to stop smoking for at least 6 months using nicotine e-cigarettes than using nicotine replacement therapy. 6 studies, 2,378 people with that many people in it, or e-cigarettes without nicotine, which were 5 studies with 1,447 people. Nicotine e-cigarettes may help more people to stop smoking than no support or behavioral support only. And that was 7 studies with 3,126 people in it.
Yep.
And for every 100 people using nicotine e-cigarettes to stop smoking, 8 to 12 might successfully stop, compared with only 6 of 100 people using nicotine replacement therapy. 7 of 100 using e-cigarettes without nicotine, or 4 of 100 people having no support or behavioral support only. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot.
I see people stop smoking.
Yeah.
I see people have a worse habit with vaping.
Yeah.
So, you know, like maybe with cigarettes, they would smoke. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's people that smoke like a pack a day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or 2 packs a day.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So, but there are people out there that they literally have that vape in their mouth 24/7.
Well, like I had told you, and I think in a couple of episodes before, Mario, way back in the day, he had like a little bit of a habit, like it lasted a summer of actual cigarettes, and it was the American Spirits. Okay. So he used to, like, for a summer, he did that. And then he stopped it cold turkey because, like, it wasn't helping him with MMA when he was doing MMA fighting and all that stuff. So he just stopped it. And he said it was hard.
Yeah.
Then, back when he was doing residency, you know, residency, I don't have to tell you that residency is a bitch. It's hard. It's stressful. And in the middle of freaking 2020, a lot.
A lot.
So he got so stressed that he's like, you know what? I need something for the drive home, because it also was like a drive home most of the time. And he would like do vaping and I think he did it for like not even a full year. It was probably like 6 to 8 months, something like that. He said it got him more addicted and it scared him much worse than that summer that he did actual cigarettes. Yep. He was like, it was way harder to put it down and to give it up than the actual cigarettes. Yep. So I'm telling you that from close person. And you know, like, Mario is very type A. Yeah, he's very like, when I say no, it's no. When it's done, it's done. Yeah. Like, he's very disciplined. Yeah, yeah. So for him to tell me that, I was like, damn, it's got to be hard to put down then. Yeah. Like, it has to be.
I just can't. Like, I do like a hookah hit.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like coughing.
No, I can't.
Coughing my lungs out.
I can't do it. I've tried.
I've done vaping before and stuff like that. I've never once owned a vape or anything. But it was like when vaping started coming out, and again, I got targeted. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And back then it was very much the hype of it's not damaging.
Yeah. And it was like social and stuff like that.
Absolutely. But, it's only now that
all I can't. Like, I literally, like, my lungs.
No, I can't either. I
can't breathe. I will cough up to the point where I could like throw up.
Yeah, no, I know. And you know how us Cubans, like, we like, at least like many of us, especially men in our family, like, they love cigars and whatever. And mostly if you pair a cigar with like a scotch or a whiskey or whatever. Yeah. And I'm guilty of that. I don't smoke a cigar, but I like the taste of the cigar with a scotch or a whiskey. It's delicious to me. Yeah. So, and I know it's not good. And I don't care. I think the last time I did, like, I tried it, it was like last New Year's.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. No one's here judging.
I think it was last New Year's because there was a really good, like, cigar that I think,
and again, like, there's going to be times where you, like, we're talking about something that comes from a very long time, you know, the cigars, and there's things that, like, it's not, when you do it socially, it's like,
it's more, the problem is more like the packadayers.
Yeah. It's like drinking alcohol.
Exactly. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Like, it's like going to McDonald's.
Yeah.
You shouldn't eat McDonald's. Yeah. But you're probably going to do it like once.
I need those fries. I need those fries. Yeah. I just do.
Yeah.
So, So a study published on the Journal of Oral Pathology and Medicine found the opposite. E-cigarette use was not significantly associated with increased smoking cessation among cigarette smokers. So that's why.
That's what we're trying to say, that it's encouraging that smoking behavior.
Yeah.
So people were on cigarettes, then we were saying no, like no cigarettes, and we actually got away from it. And then now it's vaping, so we're encouraging that cigarette smoking, or not cigarette, but that smoking behavior, like that thing.
Exactly. And then how it compares to a nicotine patch or other methods of smoking cessation is not clear. So far, the FDA has not approved vaping as a method of smoking cessation. And many smokers who vape continue to use both, like you said, cigarettes and e-cigarettes. So you just made the problem double as bad.
And for these companies, even better.
They're making double the money.
Yep.
You know, at that point. So there's meds to stop smoking. As you had mentioned, one of them was Chantix, which we're going to get into. That's the... How do you say that word? The actual, like, drug.
Oh, I haven't seen that name in a really long time. Varenicline? I don't know.
Chantix.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't even remember that name. I think we always learned it as Chantix.
Right.
Wellbutrin is another one. That's like an antidepressant.
And then they use it, like, it kind of works for that. Oh, okay.
And there's really good studies behind it. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Bupur.
Program. Yep.
There it is. Yeah. So I did have it written there. Yeah. Anyway, so NRT, or nicotine replacement therapy, works by replacing some of the nicotine you use to get from cigarettes, so you don't feel that withdrawal symptoms like that bad. There are different types of NRTs approved by the FDA for quitting to smoke. Nicotine is the active ingredient in all of them. Nicotine patches, gum, lozenges. Am I saying that word right?
I think there's another way to say it, but I don't think I know how to pronounce it.
I don't know.
Anyways,
are the most common, quit smoking medicines that you can buy. You can buy them, with a prescription. Some of them are over the counter. It depends. NRTs supply nicotine without the hundreds of harmful chemicals that you can encounter in cigarettes. NRTs help lessen the withdrawal symptoms. And then there are 2 medications that are approved by the FDA that are pills. So exactly what you said. Wellbutrin, which is
bupropion.
And then the other one is Chantix. Go ahead and Wellbutrin, like you said, it's a...
Yeah, it's like an antidepressant. We use it a lot for in that depression category. So it's an antidepressant, but it's been shown to decrease like those symptoms of like withdrawals and that impulsivity of it.
Okay.
So that's why a lot of people are like able to kind of, you know, like control their symptoms a little bit better.
Okay.
But I think, you know, yes, we have the nicotine gum, we have the patches, we have the medicines that will help. Okay, and we're saying all of this because it's going to help. It's not going to kill it completely.
Right. You still have to put in the work. Like
you still have to put in the work, and I think people need to go into it like that's why I think there's even, and I haven't seen this in a long time. I work with kids mainly. I'm sure adult medicine will explain this a little bit better. But there's even like stages of like quitting to smoke. So it's like one is accepting that you have the addiction, and then like another step.
So
and
kind
then
of like
finally,
AA. Like,
yeah. And then it's finally when you have that last step that you're going to do it. That is when we're always going to have that conversation with you, but it's really not until you decide.
Yeah.
That you're going to actually do this, that it's actually going to work. Because if you're still like,
on the fence about it,
you're going to fail.
Yeah.
You're going to fail because of how bad the withdrawal symptoms are.
Yeah.
And it's very habitual. It's very psychological. So that's why a lot of people say, no, the gum didn't help. The gum probably did help with all your symptoms, but what you missed is the bringing it to your mouth, exhaling it outwards, like the rush that you get from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why we say once you're decided, you are decided. And that's why a lot of people can quit cold turkey.
Yeah. Exactly. Some people could definitely do it, and it sucks, and they still feel like shit. It's not like they quit cold turkey and those people don't feel anything. No, they do.
Yeah, they do.
But they just choose, and they're determined enough to, or motivated enough to,
My parents used to smoke.
Yeah.
Back in that time, that's what they used to do. So my
it's very popular.
And my mom still to this day, she's like, I remember I used to love smoking. And it wasn't until the doctor was like, my older brother had asthma, and the doctor was like, I'm like, this is what you need to do. There's nothing else. I'm very frank with you. You need to stop. My parents, both of them, they both stopped cold turkey.
Yeah.
So
you have to have the
and everyone's
motivation.
motivation is different because
There's
different type of people out there.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, you need to make that the decision to do it. If you haven't gone to that point, you're gonna fail.
Exactly. At 100%. And I mean, that's one of the things that I was gonna touch upon. You have to be determined. These medications and all these patches or whatever, they're not gonna do all the work for you. And then on top of that, these medications have major side effects as well. So it's not, oh yeah, I'm just going to take this pill and then it'll be gone. No, it's going to come with some repercussions to some people. Some people don't experience any symptoms or any like side effects, but some people do. And they're pretty serious. So yeah. And another thing, drinking alcohol while taking these medications it's going to be a problem.
Well, but again, then you can think about it with cigarette too. I mean, cigarettes and vaping, these are all gateway. They call gateway
drugs, or
it's not really a drug, but like a gateway habit.
Okay.
Basically. Yeah. And it is a drug. Alcohol is a drug too. But anyways, it depends on the definition that you want to give it. But anyways, these gateway habits make you do other things. So people tend to smoke and drink together. You know what I mean?
It's like a social thing.
It's like a social thing, exactly. So, but again, it can happen at home too. So if you start smoking at home, you're probably gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna serve myself a little this. And then that's how
it's a whole habit thing.
It's a whole entire habit thing.
It's a habit
thing.
So
that's why these drugs, every drug has a side effect. And even though you're using it to stop those cravings or at least alleviate the symptoms of the withdrawal, then it's, yes, these have those side effects or that risk, okay? But you also have that risk if you continue vaping and if you do all those things. So,
yeah. So, guys, that was vaping / nicotine. So, in conclusion, don't do it.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Like, I get it if you do it every now and then, very much in a blue moon, social type of thing. But, like, don't make it a habit. And it's hard. Even if you do it out of, like, social every once in a blue moon. Just be careful, because mostly if you're that type of person, because there are people that are more susceptible to getting addicted and like to put something down, can't put something down, versus other people that are a little like harder to get addicted, like to things. So you got to know who you are. You got to know what you're able and capable of doing and not doing. So it's just, think about it. And everything in moderation is always like the key as well. Like,
exactly.
Don't be vaping, smoking every day.
Yeah.
And none of that.
Our point is not to judge. Our point is to educate. And
100%.
I think that's where a lot of people like lose that fine line of what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're just, the facts are the facts.
Yeah,
and,
it's out there, you know.
and you make your decisions based
Absolutely.
off of those facts. But
yeah, and there's a million ways to go about all of this. The same thing, like you could either be like a heavy smoker that you smoke every day. You could be moderate, like maybe once when you're really stressed at work, or you know, only when that happens, or once in a blue moon type of situation.
Yep.
There's so many angles to this. Like it's not just a whole like umbrella over everybody. You just can't. Most of medicine's like that too.
yeah, life is like that.
Exactly.
So,
You can't just like just generalize everything.
yeah, you're not gonna be like with this guy, the one that we just did the Patreon on.
Oh my god, guys! Yeah, it was the last episode to this one. It was episode 16. We decided to put it out there for you all because we wanted to give you a taste of what we're putting out there in Patreon.
Yes.
And it was such a good episode. And then Time Magazine.
I know, and then Time Magazine did a whole entire article on it.
Crazy. Know. I texted you for that.
I know. Julie texted me and she's like, "Oh my god, look, Time did the same thing that we did." I know, it's kind of crazy,
and it's still out there.
It's
like
very interesting. You guys should take a look at it,
guys. It's so interesting. We didn't do it on the Time Magazine.
What is his name? Why am I forgetting?
Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson. Yeah.
Like we obviously didn't do it on the Time
I still have
Magazine
nightmares
article.
of his dinner.
Girl, I almost threw up on air.
So gross.
If you guys
have to watch it.
Yeah, if you guys have Patreon, you'll see me almost throwing up.
Yeah.
As Evie is trying to tell me that vegan food is probably not as bad, you know, and I guys, I don't have anything against vegans or vegan food or anything like that. No, I've actually tried.
To show her that it's come a long way.
Yeah, but it was the way that you described a certain dish that it was a lot.
Yeah, we were talking about the jackfruit. I'm just gonna make her throw up again. But no, this guy, it's not that his food is vegan. It's the fact
exactly
that it's blended dog food.
I have goosebumps.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Because she's right though. The way that in the Bloomberg article, which is the one that we based our episode on, it was the first one to like interview this guy and make a whole big scene out of it.
Yeah.
She describes what they ate that night.
Yeah, she even described the color was like a gray black.
No. God, whatever. Ugh. I'd be like, no, thank you.
Yeah, no.
No, thank you.
Pass.
Like, dude, I give her props for being
I can't even do baby food. I can't even do baby food.
Okay, so anyways, check that out. Check us out. All these episodes that if you guys are listening to us on Spotify, Apple, all that, just on audio, it's on video format in our Patreon. So patreon.com/Funny Medicine Podcast. We really thank you guys for the support on either Patreon or the tip jar. It only helps us like get better equipment, get some props for the studio.
Yeah,
fun situation.
Check out our behind the scenes TikTok that I posted.
Check out our TikTok and Instagram, all our socials. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. And we'll see you on the next one. And thank you again for all the support. Thank you, Mike Perry.
Mike Perry, our first Patreon. Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.